clovage and the
Is that right?
drafting?
Sweet. Where's the steel?
While you're drafting.
Alright, gents. So we're going to do a quick training session on knots today. As we know, knots allow us to fulfill a variety of operational roles, from convenience, such as hauling equipment up and down floors, to life preservation and rescue roles, such as a classic vertical cliff rescue. They say cliff rescue, but if you have a look on the internet, there's a story on there just recently up at Wentworthville, where they used a pulley and hauling setup to get a really fat man out of an apartment block. So it does still get used in the urban environment. Remember also last year, that job we had who was here when that side of that building blew out and we had to put out that a restraining set so that we could work on the edge. Anyway, so we still need to use it for sort of ancillary purposes as such. Anyway, we're going to be talking about 5 different knots today, which together cover pretty much most functions that we may need to use a rope kit for in hangar. We'll talk about each knot and what they can be used for. Then we'll go through each knot individually, all having practice, having a go together. The session will take us as long as it takes to do all the knots. I'm thinking about half an hour to 45 minutes. Anyway, we'll get stuck into the knots first. So we'll go off with the most basic first of all, clove hitch. What do we use a clove hitch for?
Tie a ladder.
Tie a ladder, yeah. Basically, so we're talking about restraining a knot around usually a square or circular, best of all tubular. We're going to practice on these tubes here. Object. So with our clove hitch, basically we've got an object that we're tying it around, and the rope will come down. It'll go around and back through itself and back out the other side. Yeah. So I'll show you as such. I'm pretty sure the drawings for the next one will be a bit easier. So go around the object once, back over our rope, making a cross on the top, and then back through, following the first rope through again. When it's all dressed up, we should see that the ropes coming to and from, marrying right up next to each other like such, and the crossover in the middle. And the whole idea is when we start pulling on that, it'll bind. So chuck these out for practice. You want to use that knot in your leg, mate? It's easy. I'll do that better.
That's actually quite a good explanation you gave there. It makes more sense to go over the make a cross and then up and follow the first
Follow
one.
the first one through again.
See that first
One
one
side. So yeah,
First row.
so this one goes over, so,
Left to right.
and then back across, you make a cross like that.
That makes so much
And
more
then back
sense.
through, following the original loop just like that.
Does it matter if you start this way or coming from behind? Can you do it that way too?
It depends on where your load's going to pull.
Say we've got that ladder.
Yep.
The ladder's normally coming this way, do it that way,
Yep.
and then through that cross
Yep,
here, which would be there.
exactly right. Now have a look at which way the load's going to pull.
Okay.
So if you had a load that was pulling down like that, that'd be the best way of doing it. Because it would not want to move very far.
Yeah, but how do you tighten, how do you put tension on this?
It'll self-tighten. So what you do is just like you did there, pull both ends.
Oh, but then this is going to be the other side.
Yep. It's not going to put a huge amount of tension on something as you do it. It will resist more as it gets pulled on, as long as it's dressed neatly.
Yeah.
So it's more of thinking about which way the load is. Of course, you don't want to have a situation where the knot's upside down and the load's like that. Because you'll see it'll pull. It'll eventually find another grip point, but it could let out a fair bit of rope.
Okay, so you want to do it over.
You want to have a think about it, and if the load's pulling across the top here, that's where the guts of the knot should be, right on that position where it first hits friction.
Do a cross and then through the cross. Did you hear that?
So, over,
Yep.
cross,
Yep.
and then back onto that one.
Yep. That's the way.
I get a bit confused here.
Okay, so you're doing the right thing there, but both your knots have to be inside the cross touching each other. Both your leading.
If I do it the other way, right?
Yep.
If I go this way, it's easy. It makes sense to me.
Yep.
But then when I do the opposite way, I get a little bit confused. So that, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Simple. But then when I go like that, I go over there. Because it kind of feels back to front.
It is back to front. So
Sorry.
now, when you're done with that, that's how to do it.
Yeah.
But if the load was coming from this end, that would undo the knot. So you've got to go
Like
with
if
the
your
load.
ladder's facing that way forward.
Yep. Okay, in that case, your ladder's facing that way forward. That's your rope.
So I'm the ladder.
So, oh, you're the ladder.
Okay, you're the ladder.
With a
Okay, so you want to say,
should you
okay,
do
so
5 each?
if you're the ladder and you're
Tile-
passing the rope
tile
over me,
each?
and I'm standing on the wall,
Yeah,
okay.
right?
Right.
This is the railing right
Half
here.
Yeah,
inches.
that's the bottom rung.
So I have to have a look at which way the rope's going
Inches up.
and say this is the way the load's pulling. The load's going to touch right here, and that's the direction it's going to pull,
Yeah.
right? So then I'm going to go across, over, do that across, and then pull it right through. And
So
the
the
main
tail
thing,
always faces you.
the tail will, because that'll be attached to the rope. So that'll be the fixed
Oh,
point.
you have to, yeah.
It'll be attached to the ladder, and that'll be a friction point. Always try and have your friction point just about there, so that it's like a 45-degree angle. It's pointing out the direction that the ladder's going, and it'll pull straight away. If you have it at any other point, it'll rotate before it loads, and it couldn't undo.
Okay, so that's the ladder. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
A little bit more tail, and you would have done it. No worries. Now, just a quick one there. With this, preferably have it on the outside there, just like that. It's a little bit stronger that way.
Right, so you go in the middle.
Yeah, go in the middle and return. See how it also puts this rope in the middle on the way through here too. So both ropes are in the middle that way.
So under, make it cross, and back to the middle. Yeah, okay. that's
Yeah,
nice.
beautiful. That's spot on.
This over,
Yep.
do a
Cross.
cross, and you get
Beautiful.
the tail, and you push through the cross, which is the hips.
That's correct. Yep. Nice.
And that's the resistance there.
So what do we use this knot for?
Slide that way.
Just to tie things off,
Tie off ladders.
yeah.
We can also.
You
We
can
can
tie off the
Right,
brackets.
this side.
Yep.
The trunk is hitch, you use a clothing to tie off the tail.
You can. The trouble is, hitch, you manage with that as you get some leverage on there, but it's basically good for lashing a rope, anything round. You can also use it to do things like put it around the neck of a sledge axe or a Halligan tool, extinguisher for hauling extinguishers. As long as you put one around the actual stem that's underneath the handle and one on the actual body itself.
You do the mid-run one?
Right, no hard mode challenges today, but we'll talk about that as soon as we're done the video, please. I'd like to see you do that. Just for the purposes of the video, we'll stick to the lesson plan. Thank you.
I'm an advanced lesson plan, so.
Advanced, you
it's too
can do
basic
the
for me.
next one. All right, are we all okay with clove hitch?
Yes.
Yep. So is a life preservation knot? Can we put a live load on the end of that?
No.
No. We can't use it for humans. But we can use it for equipment and carrying stuff like Keegan's just so eloquently displayed to us. 5 gold stars right there. Beautiful. So the next knot we're going to move along to is the bowline. We're all familiar with the bowline. What does the bowline do for us?
Tie your boat off.
Boat off. Well, it probably does tie your boat off.
The marinas.
I don't actually own a boat, so I'll let you.
It's a non-slip knot.
Non-slip knot. What can we use it for?
You can use it on cordage, you can use it as instead of the figure of 8.
Instead of a figure of 8, it's not quite as durable as a figure of 8. In other words, if loads come on and off it and it jiggles around a bit, it's not going to stay together as well as a figure of 8. But it is a life preservation knot, so we can use it on anchors and we can use it on people in a pinch if we need to around the old armpits. Okay, so bowline. We talk about rabbits, trees, and holes. So we have a look at our rope. Our rope comes down, and then we make one loop in it. And this part of the loop goes over the back end. So you have a look there. And the one coming down towards us is the over bit, right? So first of all, start off making that P. So the rope's like this. This is the tail end here, or the working end. We come down, and we go over ourselves and make a capital P. The loop should be pointing towards the inside of the knot, and the bit coming away is a bit on top.
Remember this.
So just that way.
Oh,
through.
Yep. Beautiful. That's not quite right. Go back to the P, man. Okay, so we've all got our P's looking good. Show me a P. That's kind of a bit dirty when you say it like that, isn't it? Where's your? Yeah. So you should be listening, buddy. It's alright, I forgive you because you're pretty. Alright, so
Okay, I got it.
just like that. So P facing inward with the bottom end on the top end of the rope. Yep, beautiful. Now with that working end, what we do is we say it's a rabbit, right? So the rabbit comes out of the hole, so from the back, coming forwards, so underneath that rope, and above this rope, so then it goes over top of that one, goes around its tree, and then pops back into the hole. Okay, so once your P is ready, the rabbit comes out.
P, behind the P.
I'll show you all here real quick. So here's my P. Okay, so the rabbit is going to come out of the hole.
Right.
It's going to have a quick walk around the tree, around the back there, and then duck back into the hole. And then I'll just pull that tight, and that's a bowline there. Yep, out of the hole, around the tree, back in the hole.
Yeah, one here.
Pull it
Sorry,
tight.
One folded.
So pull this end and that end. And that's, yeah, it'll have to dress, so it'll dress like that. And that's your bowline. How we going?
Oh, okay.
So when you're done, you should have a loop like this, and it should be a non-slip loop. It won't get any bigger or smaller no matter which way you're pulling it. Now we're looking, that's right. That's spot on.
Is it P?
Yep. Okay, let's have a quick look at your P. Now see, this is the end going down. Is it on the top of the bottom? It's on the bottom.
Should be on top.
So it should be on the top. So read your P. There we go. That's the way.
And then you go this way.
But no, the rabbit's got to come out of the hole. So you've made the hole.
Yeah.
Here's the hole,
Yeah.
and here's the tree. So the rabbit comes out of the
Alpine butterflies, isn't it?
Alpine butterflies.
Can I make final cut?
It'll all make final cut. Alpine butterflies and the blooper reel.
Yeah.
Alpine butterfly.
There'll be quite a few bloopers in your reels.
Plenty of blooper reels. Alright, so what do you use Alpine butterfly for?
Don't you connect your harness to it?
You can connect carabiner.
Carabiner, sorry, that's the word I'm after.
Oh yeah, you'll have your carabiner stuck in the end of your harness, you connect that to it.
Interested.
So,
Non-slip loop.
non-slip loop, and where do we do it in the existing line somewhere, don't we?
Yes.
So the good thing about an Alpine butterfly is we can come up to any line, anywhere, just grab a bite of it, create an Alpine butterfly, and create a loop that comes off the side of it. A little bit. Ah, that's the shit ass way for it.
We have to sense that down the final cut.
No, they can butt the shit ass.
Do you want me to beat? Can you wait to swear?
Yeah, that's good. You ready? Oh, this is a shit ass whiteboard. See
Yeah,
how
that's-
smooth.
Do you have to have quite a bit of slack in the line?
You do for the way we're going, and it'll have a loop like such.
Got it.
I know that looks shit ass, but that's what we're doing.
I missed the beat, sorry.
Sorry? You did. Yeah, I should have warned you.
Yeah.
Alright, so if this is our line across like such, the way we're going to do it today is you pick up the bite of that line, make one loop, so one cross like that, and then one more wrap. And if you have a look at that, you've got actually another little hole in the middle here. See it there? So it's like a kind of like an 8.
Yeah.
Now what we do is we pick up, we just bite it down the bottom there, so hold on to it. Pick up the top here, and then push it down underneath itself,
Do you do it where the X is or not?
above the X. So you got the second loop there. So we're just grabbing the top loop,
That was nothing like your.
top loop, and you push it down underneath the rope, and then back out through the hole you made with the second loop, like such. And that's the whole damn knot. But it's just tricky to get. So what I'll do is I'll come around each one of you and have a look at how you're doing it.
Can we do it this way too?
You can do it that way as well. I've moved away from that way because I thought this way was a little bit
I
easier.
thought this is easier.
Well, whatever does it for you.
Yeah.
Can you, when you grab the rope, you can twist either direction, you don't have to have it.
Doesn't matter which way you twist it.
Okay.
Now when it's, you know it's finished, have a look at it, you'll have your rabbit ear coming out of the middle. On one side, you'll have 2 upright ropes like this going straight over. And on the back, if you have a look, those 2 ropes will cross over directly on the back of the knot. So what I'll do is I'll go through each one here. So what we do is
You
Lift.
went much since that one.
twist once,
You get that one too?
twist twice. See, we've got another little loop here. So then what we do is hold it there,
I like the hand.
get out above loop,
I like the
Underneath.
hand way.
Yeah.
and
So
then
I can't do it now.
through
Yeah.
the hole, like so.
Um,
And that's enough.
you do that, and then you get the top one. Put that through the middle.
Do you just want to practice this way, Dario? until you.
You want to go right?
That's not right. You just want to practice this way, and I'll go through the old way if you want after this session.
Yeah. One,
Just as long as we're on the same boat.
two,
Yep, so that's one loop. Two loop, beautiful. So now pinch it down the bottom. Leave this open. So yep, pinch it like that.
Doesn't matter which way. You do it.
Let it be long
Apparently not.
and let that be fat.
You
and
go
then push
the
it.
right.
do this
Under, yep,
one,
and then back through that hole.
two,
And then tuck it out. Have a look at how it comes out. So then splay out the sides, give it a tease,
alright,
and just sit like that.
this one,
Like so.
So pinch a rope,
Pinch your rope.
one twist,
Yep, one twist.
second twist,
Twist,
I've
yep.
got my 8 and I come under,
Yep,
back through that.
Through the hole, perfect, just like that. Now,
Now you just need those a bit.
yeah, so pull it out. Have a look at the front, make sure you got those two uprights. Zhink. And at the back you got the cross.
So
So
you
you can tuck that in there.
So you just tuck with your fingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll mainly find its hole.
And then that won't budge from that.
Shouldn't budge. And that can, the advantage of this rope, so the whole idea is the rope continues going on like this, it can be used as a normal rope under load. And then your actual rubber on the bottom can be pulled up, down, out, it'll stay put.
So you could tie fixed point, and in the middle then connect your carabiner.
Yeah, just grab it and it'll be an anchor point that won't move up and down the rope.
Okay.
I'm losing one.
one loop,
Yep,
second loop,
beautiful, yep.
you go through that hole, and you pull it up.
Close but not quite. Very close, but not quite. It shouldn't be able to pull through like that.
Okay.
So you kind of rush it a little bit, but you're right on the money. So 1, 2. Once you got the second one, pinch it at the bottom,
Pinch it out,
and see that little hole it makes.
yeah,
So keep the top end long,
What about if you do-
and then go underneath the whole thing, and then that'll deform, but try and aim back through that hole, and then we'll go like so. How you doing?
So 1,
Yep.
2,
Yep, beautiful.
pinch.
Yep.
Now, can you go either way?
I believe so. Yeah. Let's test that theory.
Through.
I just do it the opposite way. It just gets confusing
Okay.
because I'm used to the two legs
You
out
go
that way.
forward, maybe have to go
towards
towards.
the hand.
So towards.
And then where do you finish?
I actually like this
So
one,
see-
I haven't
see
done
on
that
it?
one.
So-
Yeah.
Watch from my side as well. So go towards, underneath the whole damn thing, and see that little gap there?
Yep.
That's what we're aiming for. So it'll move around a bit, but try and aim for it and then back through like that.
Easier, better.
Okay.
1, 2, yep. And then, yeah, you got it? Yeah, perfect. Through there, done. 1, and then just press, so pull the sides up.
This is what I get off.
When you first dress it, it'll
Yeah,
want to
one
rotate
of
and
them,
pull out, so
yeah.
just pull the sides, with the side down.
You're too good at that bit.
You just use the sides you can pull and tuck.
I didn't get the top one,
Sort of
it goes through all of them.
Is that it?
That's it. So you can see on the front you got
Yeah, I
just
think
2,
that way's easier.
and on the back you got the cross.
Which one?
The way we've just
Yeah.
done. I like that way better than the old way.
Watch the old way, because once you get the old way.
We used to do the old way. I think this way's probably a bit better. It's just the only hard bit is just trying to find that second hole that you got to go through because it does change shape as you push it around.
This one's easier to remember.
Beautiful. Okay, so
Such a good knot, I can't do it.
please your sides out and I'll tell you if you've had success on that. Maybe I fucked you.
Yours
Sorry.
were coming towards you.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's
Right,
right. That's
right.
right. Yeah, that's perfect.
That's
Oh, that was
what
fine. I guess it is. Yes, that's correct. Sorry. There's a couple of little holes we could have gone through there, isn't there?
So if you go to the other side, would that be wrong?
I believe so. So once, twice, pinch, and then down through.
Oh, we did the way.
And that just needs some dressing.
No, it didn't work either way.
I got mine to work either way, it just was confusing.
If I go the other way,
But
the
you
X and the two things on the same side.
should.
So that's
Go
on
on.
the other side.
I go the other way, I find it the other way.
The X is now there, and
No,
as in I go one,
Yeah, that's what's in opposite
two,
sides,
right?
yeah.
I run towards
You want to get
me.
the dressing right on this one
The
because
whole-
it's
the
you
whole
put this in a
open.
position where it gets a lot of tension on it, especially if you've got it like a full body on the other side.
Yeah. Go.
So if you do the wrong dressing, it'll pull super tight and be real hard for it
The
to.
whole
Okay.
dressing, so you just so you go like that, right? This is
Yeah,
the way
and it's
I
also when you have a look at the maths behind it,
twist it
it
once.
really it changes a lot of they call the strength of the knot. It's
Twist
the
it
continuity of the direction the rope goes and where it binds.
Open up,
If you
so
dress
you
it figure
can-
eight, less strength out of it, which means it's more like
Come back under.
wants to snap under
So when
load.
you look at that, you can see the hole in the middle. That's the way I
Yeah.
find it easy.
Yep.
And then you just go through that hole in the middle.
38 station 5 what are we speaking, sir?
If I keep
Well,
my
I
eyes on
am.
that hole,
Yes.
you got to keep your eyes on the hole now.
Yes,
That's
always.
the goal.
The right hole. Take the wrong hole.
I'm sorry, sir, but you have a hot date with Mrs. Wendy.
This is windy.
Wendy is wants to talk to you. From anyone.
Oh shit, right.
Yeah, that's it. Just a quick look at your dressing down the bottom. So just keep that out that side. Yeah, try and keep, because it'll just make it easier for you to know where you are. That's a nice even sort of hole there. Yep.
Can you quickly show us the other
And
version?
then back and through here.
After
Do it
the
in this video.
Yep.
Well,
That's
no,
right.
That's right.
Just a little bit wrong on the dressing. So it's not quite right. You went through probably the loop just to the side of the one you're supposed to aim for, so it's just out.
Good job.
You listen to Joel? Never listen to Joel. One.
I reckon if you open that figure eight up, it makes it easier. Before you twist it.
You know what, guys? You can probably even put your fingers above and below so it pinches that hole in place. Then around, and then aim directly for that hole and pull it back through. As long as you hold that bottom hole open.
This is the way I find it easy, right?
You do a flip
When I
around.
do my twist, if you open at eight, if I open at eight, I can see that hole there.
Yeah.
So when I come through, I can just look at that hole the whole time.
Yep. Okay. That's
Because
good.
if I don't have to see the hole, it kind of disappears.
Yep, make hole.
I'm not very good at aiming.
All right. Well, you got it. You got it. You getting it sometimes, and you got it.
Yeah, sometimes.
What we'll do is we'll keep practice. We'll go to the next couple of knots and I'll talk about that one afterwards. We'll go through some more practice.
All the other way.
By the way, with these guys, is especially cordage compared to everything else, it's a skill that it does atrophy over time, and you need to back it up a couple of times to get it right, especially if you want to do
Well, I
that.
do it and forget.
Yeah, so we'll have follow-up sessions in the next coming couple of weeks on this one. All right, let's double check we're still recording, and I'll get into the next knot. Alrighty. Next, nice and easy, figure of eight. What do we use figure of eight for?
To attach to your carabiner.
Yeah, figure of eight is pretty much everything we use when it comes to attaching a carabiner on the end. So what we use is a double figure of eight or a follow-through figure of eight. Two different ways of doing it. Why would we need to know different ways of doing a figure of eight?
Double figure of eight, or single figure of eight with a follow through. You could do it on the
Around an object?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
Can't
So
do the other one.
if we do a double figure of eight, which I'll just do real quick, all we need to do is get a bite of the rope, and then we do a figure of eight, and straight through, as such. And that's a double figure of eight, and that's ready to have a carabiner stuck right on the end of it. That's all well and good if we're just making a little loop there to put our carabiner on. As Dario said before, with a figure of eight, if we wanted to put it around something, we got to do one figure of eight and then a follow-through figure of eight. So if I wanted to put it around an object, I do one figure of eight, and I'll go through the figure of eight in just a second, as such, and then I put it around the other object, and then this tail, I'll then follow the actual original figure of eight through, that's the follow-through figure of eight, and that means that doing it this way, we can put it around an object, and it'll be sweet. And I played that wrong, there we go, that way, and back through. So doing it that way, once again, we end up with the same figure of eight knot, but we can actually do it around an object. So we'll do the double first of all, because that's probably the most important one you'll need to know. If you can't do a follow-through figure of eight, Other knots you could use to replace that is things like a bowline, as we were doing before, to go around an anchor. So do a double figure of 8, grab your rope, and grab an overlap. So that we've probably got about a foot worth of overlap at the end, like this. Right?
Single,
That's a single, perfect.
and you can go up around and
Yeah, mate.
So
Please follow the instructions.
grab the rope, probably about
Sorry?
Don't rush your head, it's fine.
grab the rope probably about a third of the way up, the bite you've got there. And then come down over top like this. Around on your side, so it's coming like this. So we've got so far just a loop. So we've just gone above the back rope. Now we're going to go behind it. So we're going to switch through like that. And then back up the top. So eventually we get that. What are you guys doing?
Still no follow through.
You guys are stuffing around.
Didn't the
Oh,
instructor say do a follow through?
Beautiful.
Oh,
Now we were doing a double, weren't we?
Yeah.
Someone's
Beautiful.
not listening.
That's a phase.
Someone's got instant fail back to college with you.
What's this?
Just double follow through, sorry, double figure of 8. So can everyone show me a double figure of 8? Once again, take your bite, down, over, around, and back up through the middle. And dress it as such. When you have a look at it, just make sure all the ropes are sitting nice and parallel to each other. That way when it takes a load, it won't wiggle, shovel around and try and find its resting point if you've already got it dressed nicely. With all your knots, guys, try and dress them nicely. If the knot is wrapped around itself, when you put a load on it, it can drop a couple of inches, rotate, let a couple of inches of rope out, and if you've got someone on the end of that, of course, it can be scary as all hell. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like I bought one.
Show me yours. How does that go?
And that's all good. Okay, so double figure of 8. Nice and easy.
You gotta dress it. So you're fine.
You can address yourself anyway.
You want to do a follow through real quick? So with a follow through, it's just the same as before. Only we only use one length of rope. So grab your rope probably about 2.5 foot from the end, like so. Using one rope this time, just make the single figure of 8. So down, over itself, under itself, and then back through to make that single figure of 8. Don't pull it tight, leave it like this. Yep, beautiful. Yep, looking good. And then it's nice and easy. All we need to do is trace. So this end of the rope will go around whatever we need to go around. And then come back and then follow this rope. The rope that's coming out on the working end, this end here. Follow it back through, and we say follow it on the outside. So have it coming through next to itself. Pull it through. And then as you can see, it just follows itself around. So it comes in here, follows itself back around, and then back out the other side. So that by the time we pull it all nice and neat, it should sit mostly flat. As such. Mine just needs to go that way. Beautiful. And that's something we can use if we need to tie a figure of 8 around an object. So that's your single figure of 8, and then you just come back and trace it through on the reverse. Yep, single, perfect. So we dress it up. And back around. Yep. So that's gone around an object. Yep. Now we just got to follow it so it goes back in the same way it came out. So see like that. And then follow around. Down. And back around, once again following this rope all the way through. And then pop back out the way it came. So it actually goes in reverse order, so it goes back in the same place that it came out last. Yep, that's. You just had a little bit further to go. I'm not going to interrupt you before you're finished.
No,
But
I
just-
thought I was finished.
Just that last one.
Oh, okay.
So when your knot's finished, you'll have 2 ropes coming out each side of the knot. parallel to each other.
I hadn't finished it off, I thought it was done.
So look for 2 ropes coming out at both ends parallel to each other.
If you finished it like that, that's still going to have some bite on it.
Some bite, yeah. It
Just
won't be
not-
as good as the
not
other
as
one,
good, yeah.
but it will have some bite to it.
Get the initial.
Oh, mate, I thought you knew this.
I did. Follow through.
Yep, as you follow through.
And then you fly up.
Yeah, so then it goes
And
around.
it comes back the same way.
It comes back, yeah, so don't try and pull this too tight, it'll make it hard for the second bit. So give
Get
it
the
a...
initial figure. What's the biggest
Check
one?
it.
How do you do it?
Oh, look, I just...
Yeah, I know.
I do it so many times with climbing.
Okay.
So just
Use your rope, that's it.
over,
38.
under, through.
I run through.
Yeah. The rope's going to go close.
Yeah.
So
It looks like a bloody ball.
Good teacher. Do you hear that?
What's that?
I only had like 3 years, so
I'm still good person behind me.
Yep, so and then they'll continue on the same direction.
I was a good teacher.
So over, under, and then through. Yep, and that's your
It
signal.
says cameras are
It's probably working.
the
Yep,
recording
so then it goes
on.
around, does what it needs to do, and then comes back down and follows the same,
Oh, look.
so it follows the rope in reverse.
Confusing at
All the way
first,
back
it's
to
actually
the
not that bad.
What?
That double eight follow through, I thought was going to be a bit confusing, it's actually not that
They'll
bad.
double A fall through.
Yeah.
That's what your kids are calling it these days.
Fuck.
That's my 8, alright, going around my item.
Are you going to go to the toilet?
Yeah, no.
I'll show you later.
This time.
Now guys, as I said before, I'm a strong believer when it comes to knots that you can't just get it all in one go, so we'll have to do another session next week, just a really informal sit down and show you what you remember. After you've done it 3 times in a row, three weeks, it's down pat. Beautiful. As you single, as you follow, as you double.
What have you got? An object?
When you lazy shit.
I did it.
I'm just gonna, if you give yourself a little bit more tail, it'll make it easy for you. It might be just a little bit tight if you do it that way. Alright.
I'm just excited because half inches in the end, just make extra safe.
I can show you how to do it next. Alright guys, we're actually going to do a Prusik, but I might stop the video there. Just for the module, we'll talk about the Prusik afterwards. So, any questions about the knots we had thus far?
Good instructions.
Do we feel slightly more confident about the knots?
Much better.
How's that going?
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah,
Yes,
too small, so just a bit more
You
tail.
can just follow right to the end. Well,
Yeah, and give yourself at least this much tail, especially if you're going around an object. When we're doing a follow through just for climbing, I'll show you what we do is to measure the distance. We'll grab that much rope, so one arm and to your shoulder, and that makes a loop big enough for climbing. So you probably, if you're going to go around an object, you're going to need more rope than that. So it's a fair bit of rope where you follow through. It does chew it up a little bit, and you always want, probably about a good 3 inches, 4 inches of tail on the other side, just in case the rope does slip a little bit. It doesn't straight through. Although a double figure of 8 is a really sturdy knot. Even if you stuff it up like you did before and not do the last pass, it'd still be reasonably strong. It's pretty sturdy and it doesn't come loose. That's why we use it. It's a very good knot like that.
What knot did Charles forget to put in his end?
Stop a knot.
Any knot, yeah, stop a knot. So basically what we do is,
Anything to stop you sliding off the end of the rope, you can put it in.
when you're abseiling, you're going up both at the same time. So what we do is we put the rope through an anchor point like so, but we don't put any knots in it because you've got to get down the bottom and you've got to pull it through. So what happens is we double the rope over the ankle like that, and then you put both ends through your friction device, so you abseil on both ends at the same time, and as you get down the bottom, you just pull on one end of the rope, and eventually the rope comes back down and you get it. So what Charles didn't do is what's called a stopper, so you loop it like that. What happened to him was,
Was his rope not long enough?
his rope wasn't balanced, so his rope looked like that. So one end was on the ground, this end was 10 metres off the deck. So he started abseiling, he's going, yeah, no worries, no worries, no worries, no worries, no worries. Got to this point, one end of the rope popped out of his friction device, and then it just pulled straight through because there was nothing wrong. I just heard it go,
So he didn't check his rope properly when he threw it off the edge as well.
yeah, we couldn't see it, but he should have balanced it. But
Yeah.
as Rapis was saying, the best way of defending against that, even if the rope's unbalanced, is to just get it and tie a stopper. So you just do an overhand knot like such. That's all you need to do. And then as you get rid of this end of the rope, you chuck it over the cliff. And then even if it's unbalanced like this, it means you go down, 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 clunk. Ah, shit. unstuck, and then you've got to sit there and work the rope through until it's balanced again, but you don't fall at the end.
So you had a shock up.
Yeah, sure.
How far do you fall?
I'm going to stop the video, so we're all good, we're all happy, no questions?
Yes, sir.
Alright, thank you very much guys, thank you for your participation. We'll have a quick talk about the Prusik after this, and that'll be the next session. We'll do that.
Charles is
I'll say my
real
rules,
shock.
but